up, everybody? This is Preezy from Listen Up, Listen In podcast. This is a podcast discussing different topics that will help us motivate, educate, differentiate, heal, laugh, grow, and improve ourselves throughout our daily lives. With my special co-host guest, trust me, you are going to laugh and have a good time. So whether you're in your car, relaxing at home, on the job, hanging out with your family and friends, get ready to tune in to Listen Up, Listen In podcast. See you soon.
How you doing, everybody? This is your man, Young Squalla, and this is another Always Everything with Squalla podcast episode where we discuss everything always. And today I got a special guest with me. If you can introduce yourself for me, please.
Hi, I'm Felicia Minor, and I'm happy to be here.
Cool. Happy to have you. So where are you from? And can you give us a little background on yourself?
Yes. So I am originally from California, but have been in Arizona since 2004. Been doing different things, including raising a family, being an entertainer, being a part of a wide variety of things, but being an active member in the LGBTQ plus community here in Phoenix. And in short, that is who I am, but living life to the fullest.
Cool. So what would you say how a challenge you had in your life? Well, the hardest challenge you've had in your life recently?
The hardest challenge? Oh boy. Wow, you went straight to the jugular. No, like
it gets better. It fluctuates. It's gonna go hard, so hard.
Okay, all right. I would say the hardest challenge. Whoa. I would say my hardest challenge is being myself for myself. I think that we often fight our battles of trying to be what everybody else wants us to be, and that can be daunting. It could be horrifying, especially as one figures out who they are as they grow up, as they come into adulthood. Many things happen and many challenges are faced. But coming into 2023, my first goal was to get more speaking engagements. So first and foremost, jumping outside of my comfort zone, possibly being on podcasts that I probably never thought of, or speaking in front of people that I never thought I would be speaking in front of, right. Possibly. Personally, my biggest challenge right now is being a part of raising a family. So that's my biggest challenges to date at this point. So,
okay. So I know you said you're working on getting more speaking engagements.
Mm-hmm.
So what type of audience are you looking to speak in front of? I know you said not your usual audience. So what are you looking for?
Anyone who's willing to listen to my story, anybody that's looking to be an ally to the LGBTQ plus community, anybody that's, like I said, willing to listen, willing to learn. I'm willing to speak on things like beauty, self-love, mental health, talking about being a drag entertainer, whole story, anything you want to talk about, as well as marketing and helping LGBTQ plus entrepreneurs and business folks.
Cool. So let's talk about the LGBTQ community. So what would you say? See, I'm a person who doesn't really understand the whole thing. So a part of my show is to gain clarity and give people understanding of what they normally won't understand, whether they disagree with it or not. Either they think at least they can say they understand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So basically, my question is, what for you? What would be the main mission as far as the LGBT community goes? What is the main mission?
So first and foremost, I don't speak for everyone's experience, and I just like I don't speak for all Black people. I don't speak for all LGBTQ plus people. I can only speak from my experiences and what I see and what I feel. What I feel is that we're in a state of, um, especially right now, of not having that target on our back, especially so for those that don't know, LGBTQ plus stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, uh, Q being queer or questioning. If you want to go in depth, you can do IA, which is I for intersex, and then A for asexual. Um, and there's more acronyms to that too, along with like two-spirited individuals, which existed way before we decided to be a Western world. Anyway, I say the main mission is fighting for equality, not being a part of the ballot chase. We're not the bad guys. The gay agenda is not something that is there to destroy the world as it grows. It's there to grow alongside the mainstream, or in fact, even make it better. Because I don't wake up in the morning thinking, oh, how can I destroy the mainstream world? It's more about feeling equal and being a part of, if not making it even better.
Got you, got you.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being the mission for you, how are you best executing your mission right now?
For me, I think that my visibility, for one, is being representation is everything. Being a voice for those that can't speak up for themselves. Even just the tiny things like this. Not that this is small, but it's a dip in a big pond, and having a voice in the community and being able to support those in the community is best. And everything I feel is a step toward making myself better, as well as those around me, as well as those in my community. And on our podcast, Let's Have a FeFe, we talk about different topics, especially if it affects the LGBTQ plus community. We don't really talk about drag per se, because we are drag entertainers, but we talk about things that to inform our community, whereas I think that some folks probably would not turn on the news or follow the news in other regards. But yeah, I would say small impact on different things, but those small impacts add up to make a bigger difference.
Got you.
Mm-hmm.
So, for those people that don't know, could you explain what drag is?
So for me, I am a person that was born with a male identity, and I dress up as a female impersonator, and entertain for a living, and use that platform to be an activist, to be something that makes people escape their world, as well as a podcast host. It's opened up so many opportunities for me, but first and foremost, entertaining, and then being a community activist, and then, but there are others. There are drag entertainers who are people that are born as female, who can be drag kings, We call them AFAB, a person born of female identity. And we also have non-binary beings that could perform as a drag king or a drag queen. So I know it all sounds difficult, but once you settle it, we all live in a world of checks and trying to figure out who's who and why. So, but that's, for me, not to ramble on, but drag entertainment is a creative outlet and escape, and a way to be active in my community.
Gotcha. So, looking from a then and now aspect, how have you grown most in your life, and what caused that growth?
Ooh, that's a heavy. You did say that you're going to go back and forth. Let's see. Ooh, growth. From childhood, I was always a little bit different. And then looking back at it, you can say, oh, well, you should have known. Because I was sassy even in the third grade. And then in adult life, I would say that, as a drag entertainer, I found what my foundation color was. But also, even through coming out, through performing as an entertainer, I discovered more about myself, what I would like out of life, what I need, what I, goals. Because, sometimes you get stuck. And I'm always thinking of what can I do next. So, as I said before, this year is me pushing my own envelope, nobody else's. But so personal growth, professional growth, doing more and more. Yeah. I would say also, I talked to someone earlier about spiritual growth, because what I felt like when I was going through finding my identity and coming out was that I was raised Catholic, and a lot of the views can be seen as conservative. I felt that way, and every time I went to the church, there was just a little something that was not right. But I had a little bit of a spiritual awakening when we were going through the fight for gay marriage, and I was just going through a tough time and just needed a spiritual grounding. And went to the church, and in like the first couple minutes, they were talking about how homosexuality was a sin and how we need to discourage people from being gay married, and all these things, and played this video which was full of that message. And I was like, whoa, universe, God, I don't know who's answering the phone up there, but this is not the ticket. This is where I want to be. But I realized that I may have some of those spiritual groundings, but I don't fall in line with the hate for love. That's what I feel like it is, the hate for love. So yeah, if that answers the question. I think that answers the question.
Gotcha. So who or what has made the most influence in your life?
Ooh, I don't think it's a who or a what. I think it's a culmination of both. Family, friends, mentors, a lot of mentors, and always finding the challenge and finding the next thing, and not just stepping in. Because we can always step in to something and go, oh yeah, I'm good here. Ooh, I don't have a specific who, but I do know that I keep myself surrounded by people that will challenge me to do better things, especially if I fall out of course with who people know that I am. So there's always people working with me and helping to keep me challenged. So yeah, it's not a who specifically, but I would say that there's a group of people, and the what is my own personal goal chasing that I want to achieve more, right?
So as far as your goals go, what is your main motivation? Is it success, money, fame, what?
Not chasing fame. If that happens, wonderful. Not chasing money. I think I have come to a point where I am chasing the legacy. What is the message that I'm leaving behind? What is it that I'm telling my children that they can accomplish? What is it that I'm telling people out in the community they can accomplish? How do people feel when they see me or hear my name? It's about the legacy, what I'm leaving behind, what I'm teaching, what I believe, so that, there's full on understanding. People talk about you from the day you're born until the day you die and thereafter. So why not give them something better to talk about?
Definitely. People always got something to say. No matter good, bad. There's always gonna be somebody who's commenting.
Absolutely.
So when you hear the term social issues, how do you feel? What comes to mind when you hear those words?
Social issues? There's so many. I think of what to, oh, that's such a big, like that's a broad term. Oh my goodness. So social issues, I think, depend on the person. And again, I'm not the representation or the representative for all people or any people. But I feel like social issues has a deep meaning for each of us and has changed for us as a population because we have learned so much, especially during the pandemic. I learned so much about us as a community, as a Black community, as a LGBTQ plus community, that there are so many issues that we just all need to come to the table and realize what those are. But when you say social issues, I feel like you just like slammed a book down, and I'm supposed to pick one of the millions of pages that are there. So, if you had a specific social issue, I could tell you how I felt, maybe. But I feel like there's so much there that
there is a lot. There's definitely a lot. So to narrow it down, what are the biggest social issues that are affecting Arizona or your city right now, per se?
Ooh, Arizona. I would say Arizona. There are 3 anti-drag bills that consider that drag is a sexually explicit activity, which I don't agree with. That we shouldn't be reading to children, and I'm a part of Drag Story Hour, so don't agree with that either. There's a whole slew of anti-trans bills that just came across the table, and I don't agree with those. Goodness. I'm sure there's other things, but those are the things on top of my head. that have affected me personally, because I feel like we have more things to do, more important things to do with our time, with our money, than to worry about what drag entertainers are doing.
Right.
We ain't hurting nobody.
So to clarify, these bills, are they trying to outlaw drag?
In some instances, they are making it a criminal offense. Like one of the bills is like if you have a drag brunch, it doesn't say drag brunch, but if you have drag entertainment, or you're an entertainer that does like entertainment in the morning before like 10 a.m. or something. Also, you can't, if you're not, you can't wear clothes of the opposite gender, which is very specific too. Because obviously I would not dress as a man to pursue being my persona. And so these bills are very much the waste of time, very much, I feel anyway, that we could be doing something better. Education is something that we've always needed to focus on, especially Arizona is not in the top rankings as far as education goes anyway. So, yeah, there's a,
So I'm gonna try to like to dig deeper into these to the associations you just named. So they don't want you reading to children. So like I'm trying to understand the whole thing. So like, are you like
so
just reading, like just reading?
yeah. So at Drag Story Hour, we open with like songs. Like
Right.
if you've watched any children programming, they have like an opening song.
Yeah.
And then we read, we interact with the children. Sometimes we take pictures with the children, with their parents there. There's no foul play, nothing going on. And then even during the pandemic, I did virtual story hours. So this is not just happening in Arizona. This is happening like nationwide, where folks have gone in either in a intimidating way, or in some cases they bring guns to a non-gun show, which in my heart, that feels like it's more traumatizing to a child than me reading to them. And also, there has been where I was followed by the White Nationalist Party, and they were following me. In fact, one of the incidents is that we do sex trivia at another establishment, and I had been there the night before. None of these activities go together, or neither, they don't overlap. I don't like crisscross them.
Right.
Anyhow, so the White Nationalist Party went to the sex trivia, and then they followed me to another city where I did a drag story hour the next morning. Keeping in mind, I don't dress provocatively at all, or at least I don't think so. And then so at that, they said that I was at a strip club giving away dildos. And and then I was at a children's event, which all of us as adults have like gone to the bar, and then the next day spend the whole day with your family. So I equate it to that, but I don't bring that behavior, nor do I get like overly wasted if I know I have I don't get overly wasted anyway, but but like I don't have any behaviors that would lead myself to be seen as a bad influence for children, as I raise them, as I read to them. So all of it is kind of funny until they start following you. And I realized they were following me by my Instagram story. My Instagram story engagement went up. And then, because, like sometimes you watch the Instagram story and you go, oh, who's that? And then, like, you kind of, I was starting to see that these were not people that I knew or had any affiliation with. So that's how I came about it. And then I started getting emails from reporters that said that I needed to be aware that the White Nationalist Party was following me.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. So did they ever threaten you or anything like that?
No, but I do know that they are still watching me. I do know a couple of them have attempted to go to story hours. But other than that, no. For a while, I did fold in because I was very worried about my safety as well as the safety of my family. And I came to a point where I can't stop what I'm doing and live in fear for other people because, then I could live in fear for everything. Like you don't like my nails, so then I live in fear. You don't like my hair, so now I live in fear. That's not the way life works. People can tell you they don't like you, but that's not to affect anybody else. So,
Right.
mm-hmm.
So what do you say to people who believe that the LGBTQ community is a community of sexual deviants?
I feel that there is. Wow, that's a very heavy question. I feel like I am just like everybody else. I don't. I am not. To say I'm not driven by sexuality is like I don't wake up every morning and go, what can I like do to be sexually out there? I feel like I'm just like everybody else. Just like I said, I think our point in case is to be equal, to be the same, but I don't think that we're sexual deviants. We're no more out there than the guy that has like the stacks of Playboys and sexually explicit magazines or Sports Illustrated swimsuit magazines in his in his closet and raising two teenage girls. And nor do I believe I mean, you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we all got here is through sex. But I'm not like yelling it from, every street corner or anything. Do I believe in sensuality and sexuality? I do, but I'm not preaching it to kids. I do say that they do need to know that there's different people out there.
Right.
And I do know that I, I I know that if you allow kids to filter what they want to filter, you let them learn, they'll figure it out for themselves. There's ways of explaining things to kids too that um, doesn't make this so. I feel like everything is like pointed at sex, and that's not the way that it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like, here's a refresher, and and then when they get to an age, then they can ask questions and um, just I don't think that we're sexual deviants and wow. Um I mm, no. I mean, and sexuality is not hidden or taboo if you just talk about it.
Right.
And it's on TV. Do people stop their people from watching TV when do
You're
they kick
right.
their kids out of the room when they see something going on?
I would hope they do. I don't have any kids, but I would hope people would try
I
to
mean,
censor their kids. It's crazy. You're right.
so
You're right though. Sex is like in recent years, sex has just taken over everything. Whether it's on even cartoons, I see they got sex.
mhm.
It's like
I mean, Jessica Rabbit's been around for more than 30 years. Where
good
are
point.
we?
Good point.
Are we taking Marilyn Monroe off the walls?
They did cancel Pepe Le Pew though. They said he was a what did they said he was a rapist, a molester, or something like that.
Oh my gosh. Oh well, he did kind of aggressively go after the cat. So
Yeah.
that could lead to, people believing things. But I no, I don't believe that we're sexual deviants. And if anybody says that queer people or gay people are the centralization of pedophilia, I disagree. And they happen in cishet communities as well. And so we're all human. We all bleed. We just look for something to look upon, to be cursed. I don't know, but
Right. I do know human nature is to fear or disagree with the unknown. That's why I tell people that even if you're going to disagree with it, understand it first. Understand what you're disagreeing with and why. You know what I'm saying?
And there are some people that are like, well, I hated gay people for a long time. And then they find out, you know, who we are, or they have a son or daughter that's gay, and then they learn more from them. And then they realize, oh, well, I don't know why I believed all that. So, I mean, you don't have to be gay to support gay people. You just need to accept it, and if it doesn't affect you, move on. Me getting married is not affecting you. I'm the one that's asking to dally in that, and I just want to suffer alongside you. So
That's what's up. So, as far as the government handling these issues, I know you don't think they're handling it very well. So, how do you think they could do better?
Do better. There's always a chance to do better. Listening. Listening and not assuming. Not assuming. The people that start these bills need to be a little more tolerable and accepting of different people, because we either choose to elect them, or they end up in the seat and we have to deal with it for the next 4 to 6 to 8 years. And God willing, somebody that is terrible for the country hopefully doesn't get a seat soon. But but that, I mean, I think that and we say this all the time on our show, is if you feel like this is not the way you think that government should be handled, it all starts at the lower level. If you don't listen to your city council or what your city council people are saying, you're not listening to the upper level either. So if you feel like you could do a better job at what the city council is doing, or some seat that you think they're not conserving water right, they're not doing this, that, and the other, run for that seat. See if you could do it better, or learn and figure out how you can support different people to be in those seats. But we always complain about the government not doing a good job, or that so-and-so is not, adequate to be where they're sitting. Do something better, or do it yourself. Not calling for violence either. Not asking for a January 6th either. I'm asking for, if you're gonna go through the proper channels and sit down at these council meetings that last 6 to 8 hours, or in some cases, you know. So that's what I think.
I want to say something about January 6th because I'm right here by all. I live about
Yeah.
10 minutes, 15 minutes away from. So about the Capitol building, to everybody who does not know, you can go in that building as a person, as a regular. You can go in there. It's just how you go in there. Like the Capitol building is a public. You can go in there. You can't be all in the offices, of course, but you can go in there. I don't know why they decided to climb up the walls, but if they would have
And
stood in
break the
line,
windows, and
I promise, if they would have stood in line, every single one of them people would have got in there.
Oh, you mean do things the right way?
Every single it's all on how you present it.
It's all about the delivery method.
And I have to say this too. I know there's a lot of marches and stuff that be happening here, and they be holding up traffic. The people, y'all, the politicians are not really here. They come here sometimes, but they don't be in this area. They not here.
Oh, this is your own personal PSA. You said stop
Yeah.
blocking the traffic. You said stop. I'm trying to get to work.
Yeah,
You blocking the traffic.
It's like the people you want to get the message to, they not in the traffic you blocking. They don't even see it until they get on TV eventually.
Oh, shoot.
Like they're not here. Like Joe Biden is not here. I promise you he's not here. he
Oh my
comes
God.
here every once in a he comes, but he's not staying here. He don't live
He's not
here.
he said you're saying please calm down with that.
Yeah. Or find out where they at and go take the fight to the person you want to take the fight to.
My biggest fear though is when people go to politicians' houses.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that.
That's kind of scary because I can't imagine if somebody came to my house and protested in front of my yard.
You know they've been dropping illegal immigrants in front of Kamala Harris' house?
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, that's right down the street. They got to stop doing that too.
As we're laughing, I mean that's a social issue that has just gone beyond a discussion. It's become like who's going to take care of it first?
Because at this point,
I don't want to take care of it. You take care of it.
It's like with them dropping people off random places, and it's like this. Like if you were to go to Mexico, right? You don't know nobody, you don't know that Spanish that well, and they just put you on a bus and took you somewhere in the middle of Mexico and said, this is where you go. It's like, what the hell? You might as well send them back at that point. Put them somewhere familiar.
As a child of an immigrant, I don't know really how to feel about that argument. So my parent came over legally, had a green card for a long time, and is now an American citizen. So I don't know how the circumstances work out, how that works, but I think it's like I said, you can't depend on one case or a certain group of people to be the case. Right. And I think it's all a matter of circumstances. And of course they're running from whatever is bothering them or affecting them in their country, because we as a country sell the American dream. We say, come here and find your freedom. And then we ship them off on a bus and say, we're going to scramble you up. You may be separated from your family, and good luck.
Basically. That's why if I was, just think about it. If you was one of them people, you don't know nobody, nowhere. All you know is the people that's on the bus.
And sometimes not even that.
Right. It's crazy.
Because there's people making sacrifices to come over here and leave their family there. So
it's the world today is ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. I don't even know. how to. It's crazy.
You can't even quantify it. How many different. And for those that say racism isn't still a thing, and all, yeah, there's a lot.
There's too many different groups of people out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, for example, you might see a person who is a cop, right? And you know, people don't really mess with the police like that right now, right? But that particular cop may be in alliance with BLM. And then you see it, and then you got two opposing groups.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you don't know who you fighting with, who fighting for. You don't know who's who. It's crazy.
It's a little bit of an identity crisis going on here in the country.
It's ridiculous. So with all that being said, how do you feel we can get back to somewhat cordiality, a community aspect again? Because at one point, I say when I was growing up, it wasn't this bad at all.
I would say growing up, it probably was bad, but we have blinders on. Because growing up, you see the harsh, but you don't see the whole thing.
Right.
Like you don't see past your community really sometimes. How do I feel about us becoming a stronger unit? I would never say that we need to be great again. Wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that we need to chase perfection, because that's not going to happen, and that becomes a thing that's seen through different lenses. So, how can we be better with ourselves and our community? How can we build a stronger community? Is exactly what I said. Build your community around the things you believe in. Build your community by running for those offices that you think aren't doing a good job. You think Joe Schmo is doing a horrible job. You should go and sign the petition to take his seat, and don't let him run unopposed for the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8 years that they have been there. Because in your cities, you have people that have been sitting on councils for years, and then one day they decide, I want to be governor, and then they become governor, and you go, I didn't like them as a city council person, now they're a governor. There you are. It's your fault. And those people go on to be presidents, dare we say. So starting with your community, building better things in your community. I know that some of us live in rural areas, but there are resources. You just have to, I know it's tough. I do know it's tough, but so sometimes you got to build out to come back in. But understanding each other, being there for each other, and building the community within is the first step. Fighting for what you believe, or what you know is best for your community, is another. Because I'm sitting here waiting for like the kids that have been involved in the school shootings to come and raise up and be politicians, because soon enough they will get tired and they will take those seats. In fact, I think some of them are going to law school. So be very careful out there, because I know that the old man that's sitting in the seat knows that they're coming. So yeah, start with the community, build your community, and then take it from there. If you strongly believe in something, start being a part of those community forces. Don't just sit in your room and type on Facebook about how you think politician A should be believing in A, B, and C, and you haven't sent them a letter, you haven't said anything to them, you haven't ran for office, you haven't gone to their city council meetings, you haven't just
I get
so
what
much.
you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying. It's like people shouldn't complain if they not even trying to be a part of the solution.
And if you don't vote, I know there's certain populations that can't vote, but if you don't vote and you have the right to vote, shame on you. No, you can't talk about it either. There's no you gonna sit over here.
Right.
Because you're not helping the place. You're just sitting on the side and going, well, they should have done such and such. No.
Yeah. Like, what did you do?
Mm-hmm.
That's yeah. I definitely feel the exact same way about that. So this will be the last question about social issues and politics. I'm about to say. So you mentioned people need to run for office. So how do you feel about the age of most of these politicians? I know a lot of them are over 50, over 60, well into their 70s, 80s even. How do you feel about this age group running the new world?
I know that people expect for them to age out or die. But I think that there's a whole bunch of, I think in the last election, there was a whole bunch of like people that were like in their late teens, early 20s that were running for offices.
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean. Those people are coming. There is no stopping those people. How do I feel? There are some folks that are age is not their number that determines how they feel or how they act. There's people in their 40s that act like the people in their 70s. So I still go back to you. If you want to go and get your seat, go get your seat. They don't let you at the table, go get your seat. But we, as everybody, need to work on being the voice for our community or being a stepping stone or something. But as far as people's ages, I don't think it's the age. I think it's what they're doing. Because, you could be 40 and blocking every bill, or you can be 80 blocking every bill. I don't think there may be a certain standard or belief around a certain age, but I think that you can be tolerant or more accepting at any age.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So what brought you into the podcasting world?
I've been entertaining since 2007. And I got into it by dressing for drag as a drag queen for Halloween around then in October. So I'm what they call a Halloween, a queen born on Halloween. And so I had a show soon thereafter, maybe a couple years after that, that was on Wednesday nights. And as a person working during the day, a show on Wednesday night, Thursday morning started to look a little less attractive as you got up for work the next morning.
Definitely.
And for me, it was time for me to like maybe put it on pause or let it go. And so I thought, what was a way that I could connect with people? And so in 2012, Freddie Prinze Charming and I started Let's Have a FeFe, because it was the time of like Periscope and Meerkat and all that stuff.
That was a few years ago. Yeah.
And so I thought, why can't we start a drag? Why can't we be like our drag personas and talk about whatever we want to talk about? But I also thought of it as a chance to connect with the people that support me, not just by me being on stage, but they get to hear what I think. They get to hear my thoughts on things. They get to, they get to learn about politics and the news and whatever we decided to talk about. So we started that, and we've refined it, evolved over the years, and now we've been doing it for 10 years, going on 11. So, and 10th, this is our 10th, 11th season, 10 years, 11 seasons. And we've talked to artists, we talked to the RuPaul Drag Race girls, we've talked to authors of different sorts, we've done different things, you know, and with the podcast, we've gotten to do different things, we've gotten to host different events, we've gotten the Sex Trivia Night was dare I say it, a spinoff of our Just the Tip that's on the show that Freddie Prince Charming hosts here locally. So got into podcasting because of I thought, why not bring drag to the virtual world where people don't have to leave their house for me to connect with them. And so we've been doing that for 10 years. That's how we got into podcasting. It wasn't so, disclaimer, I didn't really follow the podcasting train right away. We have episodes on YouTube from the beginning, and then more recently, as I saw the benefit of the audio from our live stream, we've been pushing the podcast more and more. And then this year, me pushing more speaking engagements and podcast appearances. So,
okay, that's what's up. So, what is the main goal, your main mission that you want to accomplish with your show in the future?
Oh, future forward question. To engage with those that we wouldn't otherwise engage with. To also grow our community, and to inform our community is the three that I can think of off the top of my head. But to diversify our community is another good one. But yeah, I would say those are maybe the four. Not really chasing numbers. Have not really been the one, though we have recently gotten to like 7K downloads.
That's what's
but we're not really chasing numbers. We're chasing connecting with our community.
That's good. So
Was it I know that probably isn't the answer you've been looking for, but
no. The answer I'm looking for is whatever the truth is. That's it. So I know for me, my podcast, the reason I started it was mid-COVID, and that was just to get my little political view out there. Just like I did a couple episodes and I stopped. But then recently, last year, like late last year, I brought it back, and now I'm trying to basically give more people a voice, more people to speak unfiltered, because I know how social media could get with deleting people and all. I was like, so I just make a platform where people can talk freely, whoever disagree or not, you could just get your voice out there.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why it's not about who likes what you say or who disagrees with what you say. As long as you can express how you feel and get people to understand it, that's it.
More understanding, absolutely.
Yeah. So, what do you think is the hardest part about podcasting?
The hardest part?
Yep.
The hardest part, I think, is remaining consistent.
Oh, yeah.
We try to remain consistent, and we live stream on Wednesdays, and it wasn't until this year that I had gotten into the swing of like making it a routine to just take it as soon as I get the audio from our episode to put it on the podcast. No thinking, no, just do
Straight
it.
to it. Yeah.
Because that was, my little hang up. It was, I was gonna like, oh, I think I should edit it. And then people were like, no, we just listen to it. And so I said, okay, well, since you just listened to it, I'll just, because what people were doing were they were listening to like it on Facebook. They weren't really watching it.
Right.
Though I do think some people watch it afterward, but they were just listening to it. And so I was like, well, why don't we just put it on the podcast anyway, so they can listen to it there. So yeah, I say the hardest part of is consistency, and I don't think topics are really hard to come up with. I think that maybe connecting with guests is sometimes a little challenging, but
Yeah.
the hardest part is consistency.
I'm definitely still learning. It's like this January, I definitely overbooked myself a lot.
Oh
Like,
wow.
I'm running on E right now. Like I've been getting it done. Like I've done all my obligations.
Okay.
But I definitely know not to book the amount I booked next month. Like I definitely got carried away. I ain't think about personal time.
Yes, self-care is important. Self-care is important. Very much so.
And then, like I said, I do a full-time and a part-time job on top of this. So it was,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, it was crazy. There was one girl, I just straight up forgot about her episode.
Oh no.
We got it done though. We rescheduled it. But
She said,
yeah,
you forgot about me.
yeah. That's why I said, no, I can't do it like that no more to make me look bad.
Yeah. I mean, and it also builds, your sense of community and your personal brand with people. So
Yep.
yeah, podcasting can be a little challenging. And for me, for a while, this is the first year that my co-host Freddie Prince Charming has taken on some of the duties of doing the like booking of guests. And so sometimes I get I'll see because we only do it on Wednesdays. So I see those 4 to 5 Wednesdays and I go, fill them, fill them, fill them, fill them, fill them. That's what my brain says. My brain says, fill it, fill it, fill it, fill it, fill it. And
Right.
then so he's like, you need to slow down because like I'm not giving him a chance to come through and give other people dates. And so I was like, oh, I forgot. And so that you're right. Like if you have guests, then that adds to like there's some episodes we don't have guests, and those are sometimes what I like to think the reliever episodes, because I'm not worried about all the things like making sure that I log on early to make sure that they're all taken care of, or
Right.
since we do live stream, we do have to make sure that their video is working and that their sound is working before we go on. Since it's live streamed, we don't want to be like sitting there and they're staring at us and going,
Right.
um, but yeah, I would say consistency. Second thing is guest and preparing. If you're ever thinking about starting a podcast out there, preparation is key. And sometimes knowing people is key, because I booked some guests that I didn't really know, or I didn't research them, which is another word for a host to say that we stalked you for about a week. But make sure you know your people, make sure they align with some of the things that you are talking about. Make sure if you have a sports podcast, don't book somebody that knows nothing about sports.
Right. That's definitely
Unless that's your intent, you purposely book that person because they know nothing about sports, then that you
that
go
sounds
ahead.
different, yeah.
But I don't really know anything about sports. I know the difference between a touchdown and a home run, but as far as knowing stats, you can't get me. But other than that, yeah, biggest challenge, consistency.
Absolutely. So what would be your advice for somebody who's looking up to you as a person, podcaster, somebody in the LGBTQ community, anything? What would your advice to somebody who's looking up to you?
Ooh, these are so good. I'm gonna write these down for my guest. Representation matters. So there was a point where I was going to quit everything. I was going to quit entertaining. I was going to quit everything. And I talked to someone. See, the thing about younger generations is that they can see you virtually before you even know that, not to say that you know they exist, but they can watch you virtually. And so for me here in Phoenix, I had someone come up to me and say, thank you for being visible and thank you for being out there. And some people have watched our show. Some people have, seen me do different things on, TikTok or Instagram. And so you never know who you're affecting until it becomes, known to you, or sometimes you may never know. But for those that look up or look at me for as an example, I say, take what you want, take what you want to learn, and make it your own. And I know that representation matters because when I was growing up, there was no one that looked like me that I thought, I'd want to do that, or I want to grow up to be that person. So, goodness gracious, I lost train of thought. Where was I going with this? Representation matters. I feel like those that see me know what my message is, and I hope they, like I said earlier, I'm not chasing fame, I'm not chasing money, but if those things come along, I'm not saying no. But my thing is legacy and hoping that my message carries over, and that people are learning and mainly not to feel hate, but to feel love, never to feel hate. Excuse me, even if you are one of the groups that hates me, that's your problem, not mine. But to move forward for the next generation, we need to have more representation. We need to be seen, and it's very important because you don't know what your work is doing. Even when you started the podcast over, you don't know what person that sees or that is that younger version of you that's like, well, okay, all right, he's doing it. That means I could do something like that, or I can do this, that, or the other. So you never know, especially this day and age. You never know who's watching.
Exactly. Definitely, you don't know who's who. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be?
Classy, sassy, and productive.
Classy, sassy, and productive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So coming to a close of the show. So
Mm-hmm.
do you have any last remarks, shout outs, or anything you want to say?
So I hope that I have educated the best to my ability. But if you feel that anything that I said was inaccurate, incorrect, or you need to teach me a little something, you can find me on the socials at Diva Minor. and it's DIVAMINOR. And I'm open to listening. Doesn't mean I have to accept, but I'm open to listening and learning. Also, if you want to catch our podcast, we live stream on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Arizona time on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, and I think now on LinkedIn. And the show is called Let's Have a FeFe. I know you have some people that watch on the video. And then so FeFe is spelled FeFe, not FiFi. Because people will send me messages that I can't find it. FeFe. And you can listen to the last season. I think I was very consistent with posting podcasts. This season, as soon as we log off, I download the audio and then post it. So as soon as we're done with the show, it goes on, and by midnight, I think it like informs people, at least midnight my time. But I've enjoyed being here. Thank you for having me. And I look forward to listening to episodes of yours, as well as learning more from your guest.
Definitely. Thanks a lot. And I do have one more question for you.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about today's show? Like a guest review on me.
A guest review? You had heavy hitting questions that I felt like I should have prepared for, I guess. But no, you had very good questions, very heavy hitting questions that either we think about or they stay on our minds. So there's nothing outrageous. The one that probably caught me off guard was the sexual deviant question, but it's not like I haven't heard of such thing. But I enjoyed it. Keep me thinking, keep me on my toes, keep me thinking.
And I also do panels of certain social issues, so I keep you in mind on that too as well. If you're
yes, absolutely.
Definitely. So it was a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
And look forward to seeing you grow as well.
Absolutely. And then as the panels, keep me in mind. Yes, I will be here. I will be here. Yes.
Definitely. Because I've done what I've done. I've done 11 relationship panel, a dating panel, violence and hip hop. I'm currently about to do a religion one. I'm gonna do a religion. I'm gonna do 2 of those. I got a lot of people who really want to get on that panel. I'm gonna do 2 episodes now.
I'm not sure people would be happy if I was there, because I have a lot of defensive.
You want to get on it? I will send you the February 5th on Saturday is when we filming that one.
Okay, I'll see if I could do that.
Okay, let me know, because I think we're doing it at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Is it religion overall, or is it religion as in religion, like specific topics?
More like people's view on religion. So as far as me, I'm not religious, but I do believe in a higher power type of deal. But I know I got another guy who's really into Christianity, and he want to like kind of debate with me or try to convince me or whatever. So that's the type of vibe that episode is probably going to have. I'm pretty sure it's going to turn into a debate at some point.
Wow. I have to think about it. I have to think about it, because I might. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have my own personal feelings.
I got you. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I do all of that stuff. So
just don't overbook yourself for February.
Oh yeah, definitely not. I'm going to take a break, because I actually got enough footage. If I drop once a week, I probably got enough episodes to carry well through March.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I never said anything that was dated.
Yeah. So this episode, it'll probably air sometime close to March, if not the end of February. Okay. But I do drop on every Wednesday, but I also do Sunday sometimes. So I might drop just to get the footage out, just to get clear up some footage and start dropping on Sunday too. So it might be sooner, but I'll send you the links and everything. I'll start promoting it way before it comes out. So
Okay. Do you need a promo picture or anything?
Yes, I was gonna ask you for that too as well. Send a
Okay.
headshot and any links that you want, I'll put them in the description.
Okay.
Cool.
Wonderful. I've enjoyed this. You got me thinking. So it wasn't just all flowers and rainbows. It was very hard-hitting questions. So
definitely.
Yes, I enjoyed it.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
All right, you have a great one.
All right, you too.
Excellent.